Hello, this is Dr. Chad Hawk, and I'm sharing the last 20 years in practice of testimonials of people who have had pretty remarkable changes in their life. And the next story I want to tell is not an easy story, but a joyful story to tell. One day, I was in my practice, and a gentleman came in who had had many, many years, like more than a decade, of severe low back pain. I mean, to the point where he had tried everything. He had done injections and surgeries, and he had seen acupuncturists and massage therapists and physical therapists and physiatrists and all of these people, and no one had ever been able to help him with his pain. And he was at the end of his rope. You could tell by his mannerisms and his actions. And he came in and he was very guarded in how he spoke with me. He didn't want to divulge too much, and I respected that. I mean, after you've been put through the system for so many years, you become skeptical of what is, if anything, will ever help. And you're at the end of your rope. So we do everything we need to do. And on my first visit, normally I will do an atlas adjustment if the atlas is subluxated, and that's it. And we go out and I get him on the table and I do his atlas adjustment. And he's lying there on the side, and he gets this confused look on his face. And I just asked him, I said, please just continue lying there for a few minutes, and I'll help you sit up, and we'll see what's different or the same. And after about a minute on his own, he just kind of sits up, and he has this look on his face of just not certain of what's happening, what's going on. And he stands up and he just walks out of the office. He just gets up and walks out the front door and is gone. And I'm busy at the time. I don't have time to like run him down and say, what are you doing? You know, we're not done yet. We have to talk and he's just gone. And my front desk is looking at me like, what should we do? And the phone's ringing and it's really busy. And I said, we just have to let him go. And I didn't know what was happening. Tried calling his house, and we left a couple of messages and didn't hear a thing. Next day, I'm in my office or in my practice, and I'm working, and all of a sudden, this gentleman shows up. And he just walks in, and he walks right through the waiting area, right to where I'm adjusting in the adjusting area. He walks up to me, goes, we have to talk now. I thought, give me just a moment, we'll go talk. And I had one of my associates come over and finish everything up with the people on the table. And we go back to the consultation room, and he's sitting there and he goes, I don't know what you did. I don't know what happened. But when you did that adjustment, everything changed. Now, I don't know how to experience it. I don't know what's going on. But I was lying there on my side after you did that little thing right up here on my neck. I don't even know what that was, but you did it, and everything changed. I felt it. I felt freedom in my body, and I didn't know what it was. So I got up and I left, and I started walking. Now, my practice was in Charlottesville, Virginia. He goes, I didn't know where to go. So I started walking to Barbersville, and that's a long ways away. I said, you did what? He goes, yeah, I just left here and I just kept walking. And around 10:30 last night, I found a place that had a phone, and I called my friend to come pick me up, and she brought me back to my house. I had just been walking. The fog was gone. The pain was gone. And I didn't know how to connect it to who I am, because it's part of my identity. That's who I was. In fact, I have something to show you. And he reaches behind him into his back pocket, and he pulls out a note and he hands it to me. And I look at it and I said, do you want me to read it? And he shook his head. And I began to read this note. It was his suicide note. The previous night, the day that he came in for his first adjustment, he was so tired of the pain that he had been in for so many years, and he was so desperate. After he finished his breakfast that morning, he wrote his note to his mother. And he was going to hang himself. He wanted to get through the day and go try this chiropractor his friend had recommended, even though he'd been to many chiropractors in the past. And I read this note, and I said, I'm so glad you didn't follow through. I am so glad you're here today. I am so glad you came to see me. And he's silently crying. Tears are coming out, but he's not making a sound. And he just is, and I went and told my front desk, I can't see anybody for a while. I need to be here with him. So I made accommodations, and he just sat there. And after about 20 minutes, I just sat quietly in the room with him. He began to share his life story, share the desperation that he'd been through, the pain and the abuse that he had experienced in his life. And he said that when that adjustment happened, he said it was like his brain became rewired, like he thought differently. And he said, I think I'm going to be okay now. The day I left Charlottesville, I'd seen all my patients, walking out to my car, parked on the side of the building, and I came out around the corner, and I saw Bill sitting in his truck. And he looked at me, and he got out, and he gave me a long, heartfelt hug. And he cried, and he says, Dr. Hawk, thank you so much. Thank you so much. The adjustment you gave me that day saved my life, and I've loved coming in for my adjustments now. And I know you're leaving for your reasons, but I wish I could continue to see you. So he had been able to live, at that point, 7 years, totally pain-free. He had found a new job, found a new purpose in life. Everything had changed. But that was the day when an adjustment saved a man from killing himself.